You've met her. Maybe at a baby shower, maybe in line for coffee on a Saturday morning. Same leggings she's had for 3 years, a jacket that's been washed 100 times, no fresh nails, no new bag, none of that "I deserve a treat" energy. And somewhere in that same room is the other one, the woman everyone quietly assumes is doing the best. Knew everything. The car. The trips that hit her feed before the plane has even landed. What nobody says out loud at that brunch table, and I wish someone had said it to me a lot sooner, is this. There's a real chance the woman in the worn jacket is worth 2, 3, 5 times the woman with the new bag. Not because she got lucky, not because anyone handed it to her, because of a handful of habits she runs so quietly that even her closest friends have no idea she has money. I want to walk you through 7 of them. 7 habits that build real wealth for a woman, and not one of them requires looking rich, spending to impress, or landing a 6-figure salary first. And before you brace for spend less, hustle harder, that's not this. If effort alone worked, every exhausted woman holding her whole life together on a normal income would already be rich. She isn't. Not because she didn't try hard enough, but because the one thing she was never taught isn't effort. It's the mechanism. By the end, you'll know which of these 7 you can start this week, and which one is quietly the reason your money keeps slipping away right now. And I'm not asking you to take any of this on faith. When Fidelity looked at more than 5 million accounts over 10 years, women came out ahead of men as investors by about 0.4% a year. Sounds like nothing, right? But the part that matters is how they got there. Not by trading harder or catching the hot stock, by trading less, staying calm, staying boring, refusing to perform. The flashy version of managing money loses. The quiet version compounds. That 0.4% sounds tiny, but the discipline that produced it is the whole game. So, if you've ever stood in a room where everyone looks like they're winning and felt that small private knot, am I behind? Stay with me. The women who are actually getting rich are almost never the ones who look like it. Looking rich and being rich are 2 different games, and the gap between them is exactly where these 7 habits live. Flash is what you show people. Wealth is what you keep when no one's watching. Let's start with the first one, because it's the habit that does the most quiet damage when a woman gets it wrong. Habit 1. She refuses to hand her own money to someone else and look away. 25 years married. She runs the whole household like a logistics company. Smart, capable, never drops a plate. But the investing, the 401k accounts, the brokerage account, the long-term plan, for 25 years she said the thing so many of us have said. He handles that. Then one day, through a divorce or a funeral, he is gone, and she's across the desk from an advisor she's never met, looking at accounts she's never opened, being asked questions no one ever taught her to answer. That's why this is habit 1. It's the one that does the most quiet damage when a woman gets it wrong. Handing off the money feels like safety. One less plate to spin. But it isn't safety. It's just delayed learning, and you end up doing that learning later, alone, in the worst possible week of your life. And the demographics here are blunt. Women outlive men by about 5 years on average, and of the roughly $54 trillion set to pass to surviving spouses in the coming decades, the Bank of America Institute estimates around 95% of those spouses are women. Sit with that. The money is coming to us either way. The only choice is whether we learn to run it now, calmly, or later, in grief. The missing variable was never intelligence. It was exposure, so the habit costs you nothing and takes nothing from anyone. Keep at least one investing account that is yours, that you manage, where you know the login, the balance, and the plan, without having to ask. Let a partner run the rest if that's your setup. Just stay in the room. Habit 2. She makes the saving automatic, so willpower never gets a vote. You already carry more invisible decisions than anyone gives you credit for. What's for dinner? Whose appointment is when? Is anyone out of socks? Did the permission slip get signed? By the time you reach, should I move money to savings this month? The tank is empty. And on a hard week, a vet bill, a rough day, a kid who needs shoes, that's the decision that quietly loses. So the women building wealth don't try to win that fight every month. They delete the fight. The transfer to savings and investing fires automatically the day after payday before they ever see the money or get a chance to feel it. Not save what's left over. There's never anything left over. That's not a budgeting failure on your part. That's just how money behaves the second it's visible and spendable. I can already hear the objection because I had it too. Things are tight. I can't automate anything. Fair. Then automate something almost insultingly small, $25. The amount isn't the point yet. The system is. You're proving to yourself that money can leave on its own and the sky doesn't fall. A system you can feel beats a budget you have to defend at midnight. Habit 3. She buys things that pay her, not things that bill her. Every dollar you spend lands in one of two buckets. Either it buys an asset, something that puts money back in your pocket or holds its value, or it buys an object, and a lot of objects don't cost you just once. They send a second bill. Take a $200 dress bought for one wedding. Worn once, it costs $200 for that single night, and now it hangs in a closet doing nothing but taking up space you might literally be paying a mortgage on. Put that same $200 into a boring, low-cost index fund instead, and it pays you a little every few months, tends to grow over the years, and you still own the whole thing. Same $200. One disappears by Sunday morning. The other works for you for the rest of your life. This is not about shaming you over a latte or a nice dress. Please hear me. That guilt is its own trap. It's one quiet question before the money leaves your hands. Is this an asset or an object that's going to keep billing me? The storage unit, the upgrade you didn't need, the subscription you forgot you had, those are second bills. Real wealth mostly gets built by women who became allergic to second bills. Habit 4. She decides what enough looks like before her paycheck decides for her. Let's stop in the middle here, because this is the hinge the whole thing turns on. Most people never define enough. So every time income goes up, the life quietly rises to match it. Nicer car, bigger place. The I earned this of it all, and the savings rate never moves an inch. The raise arrives and disappears in the same breath. Run the simple version. Say you get a $400 a month raise. If your lifestyle swallows all of it, 10 years later you have a slightly nicer life and almost nothing to show for the money. But if you'd already decided this is enough, the next raise goes to me. That same $400 a month, invested at around 7% a year, which is an illustration and never a guarantee, comes to around $69,000 in 10 years. The raise didn't change. What changed is that enough got defined before the money showed up. Define your number, and you run your money. Skip it, and every raise defines the number for you. Habit 5. She asks, out loud, for the money. This one costs women more than almost anything else on the list, and it's the one we're trained hardest not to do. The research behind the book Women Don't Ask by Linda Babcock found something that should stop you cold. Only about 7% of women negotiated their first salary, against 57% of men. And failing to negotiate that first offer can cost a person more than $500,000 by age 60, with lifetime estimates for women landing in the $1 to $1.5 million range. Let me give the pushback its strongest form, because it's real. A lot of women don't avoid asking out of weak confidence. They've been penalized for asking in ways men simply aren't. That's documented bias, not a personal flaw. Completely true, but the missing variable that makes asking worth the discomfort anyway is this. Raises, matches, and bonuses are almost always a percentage of what you already make. So a lower starting number doesn't cost you once. It shrinks every raise and every bonus stacked on top of it for decades. You're not negotiating one paycheck. You're negotiating the base that every future number gets multiplied against. And it is never too late. Add a review at the next offer on the contract rate. No costs you nothing. It's the silence that's expensive. Habit 6. She gets her money off the sidelines and keeps it invested. So many women do the hard part. They save and then leave it sitting in cash, in checking, or a basic savings account, waiting until they feel ready to invest. Fidelity's own research has noted women tend to hold more of their money in cash than men do. And cash feels safe, but watch what cash quietly does. It loses. Inflation shaves its buying power a little every year, so money that just sits still is slowly shrinking in real terms while you wait for a confidence that was never going to show up on its own. Let the number settle it. $300 a month, invested at around 7% a year. Again, an illustration, never guaranteed, grows to roughly $365,000 over 30 years. That same $300 a month left in a plain account is the $108,000 you put in, and worth less than that once inflation takes its cut. Same effort, same discipline. The only difference is that one of them was allowed to grow. "I'll invest once I understand it better" is the most expensive sentence in personal finance, and the women getting rich quietly said it for about a week, then started anyway. Small and in something simple. Habit 7. She stops paying the performance tax, and this is the one draining you right now. This is the answer to the question I opened the video with. Of all 7, the habit quietly costing most women the most isn't a missed investment. It's the money spent looking like you're doing well. Call it the performance tax. The upgrade, the label, the "I can't show up to that in last year's anything," the steady low-grade spending just to signal that you're fine, you're winning, you're not behind. And the cruelest part is who you're paying it to. You're moving money out of your own future and into the passing opinion of people who are mostly thinking about their own image anyway, not yours. The quiet one we started with, she isn't depriving herself. She worked out that looking rich and being rich pull in opposite directions, and that every dollar spent proving it is a dollar that can't go build it. Her invisibility isn't an accident. It's the strategy. She bought freedom instead of an audience. That's the engine humming underneath all 7 habits. Money working quietly instead of performing loudly, which leaves exactly one thing to settle. Which of these you actually pick up first this week without trying to do all 7 at once and quitting by Thursday? Let's make it concrete. So which one do you start with? Not all 7. If you try to overhaul your entire financial life by Sunday night, you'll be right back where you are now by the end of the month. And that's not weakness. That's just how big resolutions die. Pick one. And if you'll let me choose it for you, here it is. Before your next payday, set up one automatic transfer, even $25, into an investing account that has your name on it and a login only you need. That one move quietly does 3 of these habits at the same time. It's an account that's yours, so you never become the woman across the desk who never learned the family money. That's habit 1. It runs on autopilot, so willpower never gets a vote. That's habit 2. And it puts the money somewhere it can actually grow instead of sitting still and shrinking. That's habit 6. $25 won't change your life this month, but proving to yourself that money can leave automatically and the sky doesn't fall, that quietly changes everything that comes after it. Once that transfer is running without you thinking about it, the harder ones get easier. That's when you define your enough number. That's when you ask out loud for the raise. You don't need all 7 today. You need the first one to be real by next week. And notice what is not on that to-do list. Nothing about looking more successful. Nothing you have to post, wear, drive, or announce. Because that's the thread running under all 7. The women building real wealth stopped pouring energy into the performance and quietly moved it into the part nobody sees. Now go back to that room from the start. The brunch table, the new bag at one end and the worn jacket at the other, and that small private knot in your chest. Am I behind? What I want you to walk out with is this. The woman everyone assumed was winning might be one bad month from panic, and the one nobody noticed might already be free. You were never behind. You were just watching the wrong scoreboard. Not one of these 7 habits asks you to earn more before you begin, to deprive yourself, or to become someone you're not. They ask you to stop performing and start keeping. That's the entire shift. Flash is what you show people. Wealth is what you keep when no one's watching. So this week, pick the quiet thing. Set up the transfer, put your name on the account, and the next time you're in that room and feel the pull to prove you're doing fine, let that be the exact moment you remember you don't owe anyone the show. If this is the kind of money talk you wish someone had handed you 10 years ago, the mechanism, not the slogans, stick around. There's a new one every week.